Good morning. I hope the trippy effect is not harmful to anybody, but I thought it was kind of cool. Um, Happy Monday. How are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. Just inviting a couple of people to join us really quickly. I'm doing well. Yesterday was actually a pretty big day for my family. It was the anniversary of my grandfather transitioning um, to the ancestor realm. So, uh, bittersweet, but not bad. I just miss him. I miss my dude. Um, but very grateful that he's no longer suffering or in pain, and that he is well as he has visited me. So I'm really excited about that too. But how was your Monday? Post eclipse. Drop it in the comments. Let me know how that's going for you. You're probably noticing that there's a lot around transition right now. People transitioning to the ancestral realm, which some people will call death or being unalive in this plane, which is not uncommon, and that it's happening very quickly, very suddenly. Some people may be noticing that they're dealing with some ailments that they typically haven't experienced, things that are dealing with either the genitalia, things that are dealing with the womb or your sex organs, for those individuals who are not menstruating humans. You may be noticing headaches. Some people are noticing some dizziness and some blurred vision. Some people are noticing some weight gain or increase craving for like sugar. A lot of us are sleepy. I've noticed, and more tired than usual. So don't think of it as just like, oh, well, I'm always kind of foggy. Like, no, like really needing to slow down and really go deep within yourself. That's all eclipse energy stuff. And because it was a solar eclipse in Scorpio, you're definitely being asked to go deep within, to look deep. If you've been looking for answers around your health, now is a good time to kind of go and check it out. Not from the standpoint of, getting the best answers or like getting an answer lickety split, which you possibly could, but it's really more so about Scorpio energy goes deep into the depths. So you're probably going to get a doctor or a healthcare professional who's willing to like go into uncharted territory and try some testing or just really triage it from a different perspective and go a little deeper and not just try to keep it surface. That would be my recommendation along those lines, and what I've kind of observed. But for those of you who have stopped by my side of the multiverse this morning, I sincerely appreciate all of you. Mwah! And we're going to dive into this week's Monday morning mantra, which is, titles do not entitle one to space. What do I mean by that? Just because someone or you hold a title in someone's life does not entitle you or them to space within your soul. I'm talking about this because through work with clients and even in my own life lately, have really had to streamline who has access to me. And that has been a reoccurring theme with my clients. Who has access to who and who has access to what within varying levels within one's life, right? I have the title of doctor, but that doesn't mean that I'm supposed to have access to the most intimate parts of someone's physiological well-being. In theory, you would think so, but I can only have as much knowledge or input as you give me. Just because someone has the title of teacher doesn't mean that they necessarily are entitled to the space within your brain. In order for that relationship to work well, sure, there's got to be some give and take and some reciprocity, but it doesn't entitle somebody to that space, right? Just like student doesn't automatically mean that you're abdicating all of your power and just like following this person mindlessly. And saying that you're a student doesn't mean that you are entitled to learn something. You have to be willing to meet somebody halfway too, right? There's this pervasive theme of entitlement to people's spaces, people's thoughts, people's spiritual energy, people's souls, people's well-being. And I'm noticing that when people are coming to me, a lot of times they're saying, well, I'm their wife, or I'm their husband, or Well, I'm their mother, I'm their father, I'm their cousin, I'm their sister, I'm their brother, I'm their boss. I should be able to. And it's just like, in what world did you think that that automatically entitled you to anything? I'll take it a step further. I don't feel that because I'm my son's mother that I am entitled to anything that's going on in his brain, that's going on in his heart, that's going on in his personal world. Now, have I done the work to sow seeds in order to ensure that my son and I actually have an open, honest level of communication? As much as you're going to have with a 12-year-old, right? Let's just keep that a book. But have I cultivated that relationship with him where he feels like he can come to me and talk to me? I would think so. There are things that my son comes and talks to me and my spouse about regularly, and we're just like, thank goodness he talked to us about this first. I'm so grateful that he just blurted that out, right? And it comes out the blue. Those of you who know AJ, you know, like, wait, what? Where'd that come out of? And it's seemingly left field, but he's a kid who processes internally, which most kids do, right? Just because you're a parent doesn't mean that your kid has to talk to you. You can't force something out of them that they're not willing to share. Could you? Could your parents do that out of you? Maybe it was fear-based. But does that make it right? And I try my best not to project certain things onto him, like my need to fix things because I'm afraid of what's going to happen with him. If he doesn't tell me, I try not to project that, because that introduces fear, which is desperation. And then it's not coming from a place on my end of, I genuinely want to hold space for you to help guide you and nurture you. It comes from a space of, I own your thoughts. I own that space. I made you. Now you give me that. You give that to me. Which I'm just going to put it out there as, you know, for BIPOCs, like, we really do have to re-examine that, right? There are moments where absolutely I'm just like, dude, this is non-negotiable. Like, I need to know what I'm dealing with so I can help you. But for the most part, even in those moments, because I've sown the seeds and cultivated the relationship, he can discern the difference between, okay, mom needs to know this and this is important, versus like she's just trying to assert her dominance over me. When you're moving through the next couple of weeks during eclipse season, I want you to really focus on what relationships are healthy and what relationships do not drain you. And I want you to ask yourself, on one side, do you feel as if those people take up space in a way that is depleting? Or do you feel that those are relationships that actually, where you're mutually filling one another's cup? Doesn't matter if you talk to them once a year, twice a year, every day, every other day, 5 times a day. When you leave that conversation, when you leave their space, be it a sonic space, so talking like how we're doing right now, be it their visual field, right? Be it their physical space, like you physically occupy time and space with this person in the flesh. I really want you to be mindful about, how do you feel on all levels when you are around them and when you're away from them. And then I want you to be mindful of some of the things that they have said or may not have said about how they feel when they're around you. And then I want you to take it a step further and ask yourself, do you feel entitled to that person's energy? And lastly, have they shown you that they feel that they are entitled to yours? And what agreements have been made around that? See, there's a difference between agreements and entitlement. See, when you make an agreement with your friends, with your spouse, with your loved ones, with your job, like your employer, agreements are between two people. They're kept between two people. Those 2 people or those 3 people or however many people are involved, right? But those parties that are involved know the intimate details of those things, and they get to keep them close to themselves. There's power in that, because you get to cultivate and compound something that's truly beautiful and uniquely yours. But when you start sharing those agreements with everybody else and you put it out there on social media and you put it out there, in your friend circle and all of those things, there's no longer any safety in that. And now you've actually inadvertently fed people the idea that you feel that they are entitled to know those aspects of your life. Think about that. Like, I'm old enough to remember where you were taught at home, like, everybody doesn't need to know your business. And now I'm teaching that to a 12-year-old where people are becoming millionaires, billionaires in some cases, because everybody knows their business. Their business is to share all of their business, presumably so. So think about that and really take that in. Don't be afraid to acknowledge that maybe you've been holding on to some top shelf reserve entitlement when it comes to having certain people around it in your life. Maybe that's something that you need to reevaluate. Why do I feel entitled to this person? Why do I feel entitled to this job? Why do I feel entitled to this thing? And sometimes you may realize that the word entitlement is not really it. Maybe it's that you feel that you've earned it or that you're worth it. And there's a difference. I'm not telling you that if you've worked hard to be in that position that you aren't due, that you should not have what's due you, right? But there's a certain level of respect and appreciation and reverence that comes with knowing that you've earned something versus the lack of compassion and at times the neglect that comes with having an entitled mindset. Because when you truly revere something and you truly value it, you do what it takes to maintain it. When you're entitled to it, it's just another thing that you've acquired. So moving forward this week, I encourage you, and not even just this week, y'all know the deal with my mantras. It's not just about this week. It's about however long you need this and however long this resonates. 1, you are not an option, you're a priority. 2, the things that matter to you are not options, they're priorities. Keep that in mind. All nouns that matter to you, person, place, things, ideas, those are not options, those are priorities. Options are things that you have no emotional investment or attachment to. So, take inventory of those things and ask yourself, where does entitlement fall on the large spectrum that it could be, right? Anywhere in your life moving forward. And who has been treating you that way? And who and or what have you been treating that way? For those of you who are just joining, our mantra this week is titles do not entitle you to anything. And I hope you can go back and watch the replay because I got to go be an adult. But I really, 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 I really sat with that one this week. And it's something that I actually blurted out while I was talking to a friend recently. Because I've been navigating some things on a personal note with some people, and I had to ask myself, am I moving backwards if I incorporate these things and certain dynamics back into my life? And how do I feel without these things in my life? When I tell you that the sense of freedom, the sense of calm, the sense of peace that I have since detaching from quite a few mindsets and the people that continued to I don't want to say help me harbor them, but the people who reinforce those mindsets. Once I detach from those things and those people, y'all, I can't lie to you about how like the blessings just, right? The things that I've been working on for years trying to manifest them because I broke free from the people who reinforced those mindsets. Those mindsets stayed over there and I stopped blocking myself. Which in turn meant that I stopped blocking my own blessings. I got out of my own way, right? Still scary. I don't want you to think that it's like this mystical, magical moment where it's just like, whoop, detachment. Oh, wow, yay! It's all great. I don't have any fears. No, that ain't how that works, right? But I was able to take a chance on myself in bigger ways, in ways that I hadn't anticipated. I say this all the time, and I know y'all see this on social media all the time, but just because you don't see it happening in front of the lens doesn't mean it's not happening. I do a lot more than I talk about. And it's not because I'm trying to be a jerk. It's really more so or trying to floss. Those that know me know that there's a lot that I do that they don't find out until years later. And it's because I'm a person who focuses on doing the things just to see if I can do them or just to see where they take me. And then I eventually share them. I'm focused on doing the work. But now I have gotten out of my own way and now I'm doing bigger work. And I'm surprising myself in so many ways. Navigating some health stuff, but still keeping a mindset that lets me know that I'll take this a step further. I'm not entitled to my physical health. I eat well. In the sense of I eat relatively healthily. Yes, for those of you who wonder, I do eat meat, but I eat meat like 20 to 15% out of most things. Like if you know me, I eat predominantly fruits and vegetables. Don't even eat a lot of starch for real. I binge sugar every now and then, but that's hormonal. I'll just be honest. But I eat well. I exercise. I stay hydrated. I do all the things. And in doing all of the things, I'm still navigating. Some of it's genetics and some of it is just life happenings. I don't feel entitled to anything when it comes to health and wellness just because I do those things. But I am grateful for what I am able to do. I'm grateful for the days where I don't have chronic pain. And I do what I can in order to make sure that I support the physical vessel that I'm in. Right? And I'm bringing that aspect up because I was really just told to share that with y'all because there's a lot on social media that says if you do this, you are entitled to this or to look this way and to be this way and feel this way. You're not. You can do your part. And I don't mean to sound fatalistic about that, but you can do your part. You have to respect the fact that you are a cosmic entity that is literally sharing time and space with a physical entity. And this physical being, this vessel, is allowing you a space to house all of this, right? Your physical body has an agreement with your soul that says, okay, I'm going to take you through this thing called a 3D construct life. And we're going to do this together. I don't think that at times we appreciate and value what a huge job that is for our bodies to do. To house something that is infinite and something that you can't quantify. You can't quantify the soul. So you're shoving this huge intergalactic thing into this tiny container. And you think that at some point something's not going to break down. You think that at some point you're not going to feel some aches and pains. As you grow as a human and you gain experiences, your soul grows too. Scientifically, you know what happens to you when you learn something new? You get a new wrinkle in your brain. So if you get, every time you learn something new, look this up. I'll see if I can find the articles, right? And I'll drop them in the comments below. But every time you learn something new, you get a new wrinkle in your brain. So if your brain changes every time that you learn something new, right? And we've seen studies where anytime you say something negatively against yourself, there's the water crystal experiment where it turns black or green and sludgy, the water gets all slimy. But when you speak love and life and compassion and sweetly to the water, right, turns into snow crystals, right? So if physiologically you change in those ways on a cellular level, on a spiritual level, why would you not think that that meant that you were actually growing or expanding as well? Like, I know that especially as women, we are constantly thinking that we need to shrink our physical bodies to be smaller and to be, or to look a certain way to keep up with a certain aesthetic that's popular. But one thing I've noticed during the pandemic, and even more so now, whenever I physiologically gain weight, it's because spiritually I'm about to walk into something where I need to have a little extra protection. And then once I go through those moments, right? And I'm talking about like I'm not stress eating, I'm exercising, I'm doing all of the things, right? And Kenny Boho knows because I've told her about this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing all the things. Why do I? And it finally dawned on me, dingbat, you're about to go into some heavy spiritual stuff. You need a little extra armor, right? And then I go through whatever the transition is on a spiritual or emotional level. And then guess what happens? I lose all that weight. My weight personally fluctuates within a 15-pound range. No matter what decade I've been in, no matter how tiny I was in high school, in college, and in my 30s, and now 40s, right? But I've always stayed within a 15-pound range. And when those 15 pounds come back, I'm like, okay, I'm about to go through something. Or something's about to happen where I need to have this level of armor. And once I start learning to accept that, I'm telling you, it happens in cycles, but as soon as it comes off, I go through the thing, falls off. I can't explain it any other way. Medically speaking, there are a couple of things that contribute to it. And it's not that I go into it, like I said, it's not about stress necessarily. I've really just noticed that correlation. Correlation, of course, does not equate to causation, but I don't believe in coincidence. So, that being said, elevate solely? Yes, I thoroughly agree with you. Thank you, boo. Happy to see you here. Kenny Boho, you've been up since 1:30. I know. The struggle has been real. So real. Eclipse energy. I'm here to tell y'all, it definitely is a thing where, good morning, Hazza. Good to see you, my love. How's life in Gerald? I'm here to tell y'all, eclipse energy it's interesting. But it's not bad. It really isn't bad. You'll notice that there are very quick, rapid changes. There's a need to go deep. There's a need to review the tape, especially since we've got Mercury retrograde happening too. Review the tape. Go back. Don't be afraid of it. Lean into it. It's annoying because people don't drive their best. It's annoying because shipping and handling is not the best. Contractually, you got to really like cross your T's, dot your I's, look at the things. I know. Everybody thinks Mercury retrograde, right? But honestly, it's not the worst period. If we lived in a society that allowed us to slow down and actually lean into the energy of a Mercury retrograde, so many things could get taken care of and revised. Like we could actually be utilizing it to our benefit. But we don't live in a society that actually values those things. So that's where the disconnect happens. And that's where it breeds tension. I feel like I'm rambling. But remember, titles do not entitle any of us to anything. It does not mean that it doesn't mean that we have ownership over anything, anyone. Right? Maybe there's certain protections. And I'm saying this is somebody who recently trademarked their name. Yes, Chosen Knights is a registered trademark now. Yay, if you didn't know. Which, yes, does legally mean that I have certain protections, right? But I do know that I am not the only person on the face of the globe who goes by the moniker of Chosen Eyes. I just know that from my particular industry, there are certain ways in which my brand's name is protected now. So in the way that I choose to use it. And I'm grateful for that. An example, okay, last example for this. I was asked if I wanted to reach out to the other entities that go by Chosen Eyes. There's like one other, but they don't do anything remotely of what I do, right? And I was asked if I wanted to reach out to buy them out, and I was just like, we don't do the same thing. There's no need for that. I'm Chosen Eyes in this way, they're Chosen Eyes in that way. We're not trying, from what I gather, we're not trying to do the same stuff. Now, if that line gets crossed, then we need to have a conversation. But I don't feel so entitled to, I don't know how to describe it, but there's room for both of us so long as we both maintain respect where the other one is coming from. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, this is a time and a place for you to really think about what you feel entitled to, what you feel indebted to, right? Just because you have history with someone or something does not mean that you have to stick with it. And sometimes the best way to be able to truly serve yourself and someone else in the dynamic that you have with that person, place, and or thing is to love it from afar. And to know that while you may like for it to be different, that's just not healthy. And it doesn't make you emotionally safe. Keep your gazes forward, y'all. Happy Monday. Have a wonderful week. I can't wait to see y'all and talk to y'all some more. Oh, shameless plug. Hit the link in the bio. There's some Patreon stuff you all can be a part of. Discounts and all the things. So keep your gazes forward. Mwah.